Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Follow the Arc to Arcturus. Hey there, stargazers. I'm Dehne Regis, astronomer from the Cincinnati Observatory.
And I'm James Albury, director of the Kika Silva Pla Planetarium in Gainesville, Florida. We're here to help you find your way around the sky. This week, we're going to do a little star hopping and discover new stars and constellations. Our jumping off point will be the Big Dipper.
The Big Dipper, the most recognizable star pattern in all the northern sky, visible almost all year round. This will be our guide to the heavens. First, it'll point us to the North Star.
Then show us the way to the bright orange star Arcturus.
Then lead us to the brilliant blue star Spica.
And we'll even meet a planet along the way.
All right, let's head out to the sky.
Okay, we have our sky set for 10 p.m. facing northeast, where we see the Big Dipper high above the North Star. If its cup was full of water, it'd be pouring right into the Little Dipper and overflowing onto me.
Cool umbrella. Now, if we shoot an arrow through the two stars on the end of the Big Dipper's cup and continue that line, it'll run smack dab into the North Star.
Now, let's use the Big Dipper's handle to find two more wonderful stars. Simply draw an imaginary line through the handle of the Big Dipper and extend it out along the curve, or arc, and you'll arc your way to the bright star Arcturus.
So in other words, repeat after me, follow the arc to Arcturus.
Follow the arc to Arcturus. Hey, that's pretty catchy.
I know, right? Just something I made up. Anyway, Arcturus is the brightest star in the constellation Boötes the Herdsman.
His outline looks more like a narrow kite.
Or an ice cream cone on its side.
Oh, look out, Dehne, that scoop is loose.
Ah!
After you arc to Arcturus, keep going. Straighten out the arc a bit and you'll run into a brilliant blue star called Spica. Spica is the brightest star in the constellation Virgo the Maiden. She's standing upright and covers most of the eastern sky. Do you have a catchy saying for Spica?
Oh, of course. First follow the arc to Arcturus, then hit a spike to Spica.
Wow, that's a lot less catchy.
Yeah, I know, but maybe it's so bad that you'll remember it. Let's compare Arcturus and Spica to our star, the Sun. Arcturus is relatively close to us, only 37 light years away. Spica is about 7 times farther, at around 261 light years. The Sun, on the other hand, is only 8 light minutes away.
Now let's size these three stars up. The Sun is about 865,000 miles in diameter, and that's large enough for 109 Earths to stretch end to end across its width.
But that's nothing compared to Spica, which is over 7 times wider than our Sun, and Arcturus, which is over 25 times wider.
This arc to Arcturus and spike to Spica trick works every spring, but this year we have something extra. There's also a really bright light in the mix that should distract you.
It's way brighter than Spica and is actually a planet. But which one is it? Let's fly up there to get a closer look.
Wow, that is one bright star, planet. It should shine with a steady cream-colored glow just above blue Spica.
When we zoom in on our mystery planet, we'll see that it is Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system.
Through a backyard telescope, we can see its 4 moons, stripes on the planet, and on rare occasions, the Great Red Spot.
Astronomers have been watching the Great Red Spot and have seen some changes recently. It used to be a giant, oval-shaped storm the size of 3 Earths, but now, oh no, it's shrinking!
Dehne Regis, ladies and gentlemen, acting a line from the movie 2010. Anyway, it's shrinking fast. If this keeps up, the Great Red Spot could fade away. So be sure to go see it this year, just in case. So, this spring, get outside and let the Big Dipper be your guide.
The two stars on the end of the spoon will take you to the North Star.
And the curved stars on the handle will let you arc to Arcturus,
Hit a spike to Spica.
and then jet up to Jupiter.
Nice. Keep looking up.
Hello again, everyone, and thanks for sticking around for this Thursday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy. On yesterday's satellite imagery, let me see if I got that on. It's on, but it's not advancing at all. There we go. Yeah, you're going to have to kick them forward. Anyway, yesterday I had some advisories in the central interior, and today those are gone. But moving into the satellite loop now, we'll see that yesterday there was on Wednesday, we had some clearing here again over south central Alaska, along with a few clouds, and then some loose weakening surges of moisture rolling northwestward here across the southeast coast, with a low center down there near the Queen Charlotte Islands, and that brings some areas of precipitation northwestward with it. Otherwise, another dry day here across much of interior Alaska, all the way up to the North Slope. Start picking up some clouds here along the central Arctic coast, maybe a few flurries. And upper level low, a cold upper low here over the southeast Bering Sea, producing clouds and snow showers, but not much in the way of wind with that. And still looking at pretty light winds here from the central Aleutians Alaska Peninsula northward through the Bering Strait to the Chukchi Sea. And out here, the outer edge of the cloud shield of the next gale force storm that was already rolling in yesterday evening into the far western Aleutians, and bouncing that again. Now I forgot what loop it was. Anyway, okay, we're still yesterday, so there's two more to go. Well, that came in a little farther, so we'll see today that that's pushed up. Really hasn't made that much eastward progress. Still another day today, much like yesterday here across interior Alaska, just dry with sunshine, and bounce it one more there. There we go, Sean. Still have this upper low here just east of the Pribilof Islands, spinning out to sea there, meaning not much in the way of any activities making it to the coast or beyond. Could be a few snow showers up here, rain and snow showers right through this area of the Kilbrook Mountains, Auckland areas there into the southern Kuskokwim Valley, possibly to the western Alaska Range, but probably not. Most of the shower activity and clouds are off the coast, east of the Pribilofs, north of the Alaska Peninsula. And that front, actually the main low pulling back to the northwest, another one developing, pulling northward. So that front's stretched out right along the Aleutians here. Gale force winds going on with that system, as well as rain. Pretty nice northern Bering Sea, distinct lack of wind through the Chukchi Sea up along the north slope. A little chillier up there. And then band of moisture here across the panhandle. Kicking it ahead to today's graphic. See, we've got 1,036 millibar high up there off the east central Arctic coast. So light winds there, patchy fog, maybe a few flurries, nothing significant. And then from the Brooks Range southward or the North Slope southward, just a lot of clear skies, variable clouds, and that condition, light winds all the way down into the Gulf of Alaska, and a band of moisture right through here, kicking off a few rain and snow showers. We'll see over the northern areas here. Drier down to the south with a little bit more sunshine. Looked pretty good Kodiak today. Also along the interior, right out to the coast, and you start picking up the clouds here. Again, most of this moisture staying offshore with that stationary feature, just kind of moving around, wobbling around a little bit there, but some areas of patchy fog, northern Bering Sea with relatively light winds. Another high center here over the Russian Far East, and that keeping the storminess here down to the south. Frontal position still south of the Aleutians, good east winds out of the east there, maybe gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour at the most there, especially in front of the frontal boundary on the southern side of the Aleutian chain, with rain eastward here to probably Adak and not quite to Atka. And then the clouds there north side of the eastern Aleutians and Alaska Peninsula. And tonight's forecast looking like this. That front really doesn't move much there. The low 980 millibars still in the gale force easterlies here over the central western Aleutian areas, and clouds, Bering Sea, maybe some clearing, and again some lingering rain and snow showers. Rain and snow here possibly along the Alaska Peninsula, or just plain snow, but amounts will be very light. And then some of that moisture breaks off and tries to get caught up in that easterly flow there and edges its way back to the west a little bit. But staying south of St. Lawrence Island, partly cloudy skies to partly to mostly cloudy over the Yukon Delta to mostly clear here over the interior, south central Alaska, and northward all the way up into the north slope, and then maybe some flurries, snow showers at times, a chance of, with some patchy fog up along the eastern Arctic coast, light winds there as well. All the way back to the west, flurries will be on the east side, dry conditions back to the west, so a little bit better flying conditions here on the west side there from about Licktock on over to Cape Lisburne, Point Hope, and pretty good even down across the Seward Peninsula. Light winds right across the White Mountains there to Eagle, on down into the Copper River Basin, and some scattered snow showers here over the southeast, or scattered showers over the southeast coast, especially in the north. Maybe a little bit better chance of something sneaking into the south. Then for tomorrow, Friday, that system down to the south here begins to advance up to the north, and ahead of that are a couple of bands of showers, clouds with some shower activity. So those will be arriving probably tomorrow afternoon along the southern coast of the Kenai Peninsula, and probably not getting as far north as what I've got drawn here, although up into western Prince William Sound there's a chance late tomorrow afternoon. How far that gets to the north, but definitely for Kodiak Island, increasing wind and rain in the afternoon there. That'll be the best chance of any moisture. Still some isolated showers along the panhandle with more clearing in toward the border. Not a lot of change here over the interior, mostly clear north of the Alaska Range. Look for a gradual increase in the clouds. I still call it partly sunny for the Copper River Basin, and even the northern areas up here, variable clouds right out to the Arctic coast in a offshore flow type of thing going on here. So probably looking at least at some point VFR flying conditions, and that moisture now here sliding off to the northwest, no longer a threat to the southwest coast or the Alaska Peninsula, with this front advancing eastward. With it, look for those gusty winds now, gale force winds coming eastward as well over to about the Nikolsky area roughly, but looks like the rain and snow or precipitation will stay southwest of the Pribilofs. Looks wet though for the remainder of the Aleutian chain, and rather breezy as well. And looking first day of the weekend on Saturday, that system pulls northward. Friday night, rain Friday night for Kodiak, continuing through just about the entire day on Saturday. Could break out to a more showery condition as that front gradually lifts northward there, and a little bit of a drop off in the winds, although they won't be all that strong in advance of the front, but conditions should improve a little bit there from Kodiak State Airport on down. And then southeast flow looks like just flat out occasional rain for the Alaska Peninsula, and a little bit breezy here for Bristol Bay. Wet conditions, areas IFR at times for the Alaska Peninsula, and looks pretty cloudy and wet there with another frontal boundary moving to about this position with these two lows scooting off to the northwest. This one moving first, another one develops and kind of swings around and will probably roll up to the Adak-Atka area late Saturday evening. Otherwise to the north, no change. Look for a fair amount of sunshine here. Cook Inlet, Kenai Peninsula into Prince William Sound. And then a dramatic increase in the clouds as you head south, with also an increasing chance of some moisture. But southeast coast, dry variable clouds, meaning partly to mostly sunny, right up into the eastern interior. And light wind conditions here, as you can see, Arctic coast, North Slope, Brooks Range with mostly clear skies. And otherwise, a lot of moisture staying out to the west, or quite an increase here coming into the southern Bering Sea and the Aleutians. Temperatures this afternoon across the southeast coast in the 40s to mid-50s, with 45 there at Elfin Cove, and then up to 49 at Klawock, 54 at Stewart. Skagway saw 53, near 50 here along the North Gulf Coast from Yakutat to Cordova, and then a 48 at Seward, with lower 50s, lower to mid here for the Cook Inlet area. Kenai Peninsula, all the way up into the Sitton Valley, that's Talkeetna with 50 degrees and 46 over at Gulkana. Otherwise, up in the Tanana Valley, right around the 40-degree mark, give or take. Nenana at 43, Delta 39, 35 at Tanana, and the greater Fairbanks area saw 40. Chillier up over the Yukon Flats with Fort Yukon just at 32 degrees this afternoon. Indian Mountain 29 and Battles at 35. Back to the west here, McGrath at 42 and 48 down at Sleepmute, and then falling back to 41 at Bethel. Otherwise, King Salmon 52 degrees this afternoon, Iliamna 43, upper 40s there, Kodiak Island on down to AKwx, and upper 30s to lower 40s here for the Alaska Peninsula, up to 45 there at Pilot Point, and lower to mid 30s along the southwest coast, all the way up to the Seward Peninsula at Nome with 35 degrees. Pribilofs not quite getting above the freeze point, at least at observation time when these were taken. 31 there at St. Paul, same temperature also up at Gamble. And kicking off to the next temperature map up north. Single numbers on the eastern Arctic coast, although Kaktovik at 12, 19 at Point Lay, 10 degrees warmer at Cape Lisburne there, about the same Kivalina, and then up to 35. Kotzebue, mid to upper 30s here for the northwest interior, and then 30s on down to the southwest. And from there, Aleutians, again, Alaska Peninsula in the upper 30s, and near 40 all the way out to Shimia. And going ahead to the flying weather, or for lows for tonight, looks like 20s here to lower 30s. Lower 30s here for Bristol Bay, otherwise upper 20s over the southwest interior. 0 to 10 below on the north slope, to maybe 5 below on the Arctic coast, a little above on the west side there, and about 10 to 20 or teens for the Tanana Valley, Copper River Basin, 20 south central Alaska, well above freezing for the Panhandle. Highs for tomorrow, there we go. Coolest there in the north slope again, to some areas struggling like Deadhorse to get above 0 or even reach it. Mid-20s for the Tanana Valley, lower 30s for south central Alaska, and then we've got some 40s there over the southeast coast. And moving on now to flying weather for tomorrow morning. IFR possible late tonight, tomorrow morning, eastern Arctic coast, maybe as far west as Wainwright, and then down across the eastern north slope, but the mountains southward, VFR right into the Gulf of Alaska there, but some marginal stuff just off the coast, which will cover Kodiak Island, extend eastward into the Panhandle, especially on the north side. IFR here in a narrow band right along the southwest coast, back to the west to break, and more IFR with that front out west. For tomorrow afternoon, still some lingering IFR eastern Arctic coast, and then the emergence with that next system coming up here, but that's well to the southwest. So tomorrow afternoon you'll be in a break here over the southern Panhandle with the marginal VFR in areas to the north, but back to the west off the coast now to the Fognac Island area down to Chiniak Marmot Bay here. VFR Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians. Lots of IFR for the central Aleutians northward to the south central Bering Sea. Passes bouncing right through those, Anatuvik and Adigan. Another VFR day coming up for tomorrow. Western Alaska Range, Lake Clark and Merrill VFR with same forecast for rainy. Windy as well, looking wide open, as well as Isabel and Mentasta. And for the Portage or Tanita VFR, Portage, also same forecast VFR. Chilkoot and White though, looking marginal. And then on to the freezing levels. Got at the surface here, still south of the Pribilofs, even early tomorrow morning, back up across Togiak Bay, north and northwest of Iliamna, cutting across southern Alaska and over the eastern Panhandle with 2,000 to 4,000 feet right on its heels. And also out west there, 2,000 to 4,000 foot freezing levels out over the Aleutians or to the south. And for icing, we've got areas of there into the Aleutians with that frontal system from Shimia spreading eastward here, maybe not making it quite to Nikolsky tomorrow afternoon. And all this stuff is coming northwestward and probably won't arrive here in Kodiak until tomorrow night, and then up to the north after that to at least a certain extent. And for the jet stream, ridging right across the southeast coast into the interior, linking up with a couple upper level highs there along the Arctic coast and the Russian Far East. So southeast or southwest flow, this is that upper low now starting to pull back to the northwest. 50 knots, not too bad here into the southwest coast. 9,000 feet though, looking a little brisker here, especially off the Panhandle, off the coast. 25 to as high as 60 knots down south, but just falling back to 10 to 15 over the Panhandle. Light winds here over the interior, maybe up to 20 knots, but generally in that 10 to 15 knot range. 20 knots here along the southwest coast, and then 40 knots heading eastward, coming in toward Nikolsky tomorrow afternoon. Easterlies at 40 out along and north of the Aleutians. And for the 3,000-foot winds, pretty windy even at this elevation here, up to 45 knots. Nikolsky westward to Atka, but the strongest winds will be lifting north of the Aleutians or maintaining right along the Aleutians and northward, with coming up to 20 over the Pribilofs. Very light winds here over the interior, 15 on the eastern Arctic coast. That should be 5 knots, not 50. And then easterlies possibly up to 40 knots cutting across southern Kodiak Island. And the strongest winds remain off the coast of the Panhandle through tomorrow afternoon. So for turbulence, that's where most of that will be. We'll be off the coast there, on down to the Queen Charlottes, maybe touching the west coast of Prince of Wales Island. Turbulence free over the interior, northern Bering Sea. Areas of here from Unalaska to Adak, and then another batch out there towards Shimian at 2. And on to sea surface temperature. Ice edge. Still really opening up here. Of course, Bristol Bay now empty and well north of the Pribilofs, and kind of chilly out there, but not all that cold, and the wind's not all that strong. So just look for a gradual continuation or reduction in the conditions out there over the next several days. Now moving on to the southeast coast. For tomorrow, small craft advisories southeast, turning east on the extreme north coast, all at 25 knots. Seas running 7 to as high as 11 feet down south. Southeast 25, Dixon, or for Clarence Strait, with 5-foot seas, but dropping back to 15 knots, and then north for Lynn Canal at 15. Then we'll see on Saturday, those winds kick up to 25 knots now, so small craft advisories for Lynn Canal southward to Stevens Passage and Frederick Sound, and then swinging around southeast to 20 for Clarence Strait. We've got easterlies along the coast now, 20 knots south side, but seas up to 13 feet, so hold the small craft advisories on for that. And east 25 dropping back to 20 knots, but really with those 11-foot seas, still have small craft advisories. So moving on to south central Alaska, starting with Cook Inlet, north at 15, same thing for Prince William Sound. Small craft advisory northeasterlies here for the North Gulf Coast, to maybe some minimum gales across Kodiak Island. Shelikof Strait might see 40 knots, otherwise 25, Kachemak Bay to just south of the Forelands. Lighter winds for northern Cook Inlet. And for the Alaska Peninsula, Friday, east 20 knots, Bristol Bay all the way down the north side there to Cape Sarachev. Northeast 20 from Castle Cape on up to Sitkinak. Small craft advisories due to the winds at 30 knots and seas at 12 feet. For the Saturday outlook, we've got east winds 30 knots, Sitkinak to Castle Cape, turning northeast, falling back, still on the brisk side, 25 there with 10-foot seas on over to the Cape Sarachev, and even on the north side, easterly winds at 30 knots with 6 to 8-foot seas. For the Aleutians, let's see, east 25 for Saturday. Small craft advisories. Again, some gales coming eastward with that front tomorrow, starting to bear down on the Kolsky area and then lifting northward. So that's tomorrow, but for Saturday here, lightening up for the central Aleutians of southeast 15 to 20, and then swinging around to the north out over the far western side there at 30 knots with 15-foot seas. And up along the southwest coast, east winds 20 knots, Kuskokwim Bay, all the way up to St. Lawrence Island. An easy forecast here with 3 to 4-foot seas in the sea ice-free water areas, or in the ice-free water areas. East 25 there for St. Matthew Island, and then southeast a little lighter for the Pribilofs. For the Saturday outlook for the weekend, first day, northeast 25, small craft advisories make the scene again here for the Pribilofs, as well as Nunivak Island southeastward at 30, dropping back to 20 here north side of Nunivak Island up to St. Lawrence Island. Northeast 30, looks like it'll stay below gale force though here for the northern Bering Sea, St. Matthew Island. Strongest winds to the west and southwest. Up along the Arctic coast, not too bad on the winds, very light, 10 to 15 here here on the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline. Central coast east about the same. Falling back in the forecast is just 5 knots here on the west side. 15 again, Cape Beaufort down to Cape Thompson down to Wales, east at about 20. And they've got some 3-foot seas in the ice-free water areas. And then for Saturday, even lighter winds, east-northeast, 10 knots, turning north 10 on the west coast. And then we've got southeast at 10 here for the central coast. And that kind of looks like a variable wind at 10 knot condition here to me. And then more of an easterly direction, no change from Saturday, 10 to 15 knots, strongest in the eastern zone. And for tonight again, no change over the interior, staying fair here. Southern Alaska, maybe some showers developing and pushing northward across the Barren Islands. Should stay south of the Kenai Peninsula. Better chance for Kodiak Island. And kind of a decreasing shower condition here along the northern panhandle. Maybe a little bit better chance down to the south. So partly to mostly cloudy with a risk of a few showers. About sums that up. Florida's eastern Arctic coast, light winds. Big weather out here. Really isn't all that big, just some gale warnings and rain from Atka westward. And then for tomorrow, that expands eastward here with, I believe, 40-knot winds are in the marine forecast for this zone here, pressing in toward Nikolsky. But light winds, variably cloudy out to the west there, right up to the coastline, wet for the Aleutians. A day much like today over the interior, up to the Arctic coast, and look for an increase in the clouds tomorrow afternoon, spreading up a couple of bands of moisture rolling northwestward ahead of the main front down to the south. By tomorrow afternoon, definitely at this time, you'll be back into the rain and wind increasing for Kodiak Island. Scattered showers of the panhandle, better chance of clearing down south. And then for Saturday, dry for the southeast coast. This front staying well offshore here with the rain maybe coming this far north of the moisture.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.